Yo, what's up, world? It's your boy Hood, man. Hollering at y'all directly from my studio crib slash COVID hustle zone. This is where I kick it at, do my work at. My computer is straight ahead. My green screen is to the right. My t-shirt brand making machine is to the left. My hustle was up here. And I'm just talking shit to y'all, man. Yo, the homie from Friday died, man. You remember the old man, Debo. He got to 62 years old. He died when I was a young dude. That movie meant a lot to us. It was like a hood movie that came from Ice Cube, who had already dropped all kind of dope ass rap songs as I was coming up, and he did some hood movie called Friday. They parlayed that in emotion. Chris Tucker, who was the main character in it, became a main celebrity, and it was just, man, that was a dope time for them. And everybody was always tripping because Chris Tucker became so famous and got so much money that he never wanted to go back and do that again. And almost like he became religious. He always looked at, he kind of looked at kind of looked at Ice Cube as a hood dude, which he was. But white people came and snatched him up and gave him all that money at that time. So he was looking down at Ice Cube like, man, fuck them. Ice Cube went and got Mike Epps, who turned out to be a better fit for the storyline and everything like that. So it was a great little fit for them. But Tiny was the big dude in the movie. He was the security, you know what I'm saying, from the hood, basically. And it was a guy in my neighborhood I grew up with named Jimmy D. He doing fair time right now, life in prison. Same persona, but I saw Jimmy D before I saw Debo, so it was like a direct reflection. And I was like, what the fuck? It was a movie. I had no idea that people was like that around America, so that was cool how Ice Cube did that. And one of the reasons why I wanted to get into filmmaking, because at that time, I had not made a movie or nothing like that. Yo, this your boy Yusef Hood. I'm hitting y'all up from my studio. This my story. This my show. This my page, Hood Films. I actually own it. And I actually own that word all around the world. I own the word Hood Films. You know, that was a trick that I wanted to do. So when YouTube came out in 2005, I was one of the first people who grabbed the name, who jumped on the word Hood Films. I got the trademark. I did everything like that because I loved it. That's why last name was actually Hood. So I do films. Just thought it was been a great career. I moved to own that name, and so I do. And my website is hoodfilms.com. So smash up the like buttons, hit the motherfucking subscribe button, and the bell on the side so you can get more hits like this when I do shows. Normally I'm on here smoking weed and shit, talking shit. So since that's what I normally do, why not keep up tradition? Because that's what I like to do. And my movies is everywhere. You can see some of my movies on hoodfilms.com. Actually, the website is being revamped because I'm putting more of my products up there. So you go on my website now, hoodfilms.com. You can purchase some of the t-shirts that we created and got up there right now. It's hot, it's dope. I mean, I got some cold creations and it's free shipping. It's all the cold shit that you're going to love for the holiday. So go holler at your boy because we independent, we self-made over here. So, but my movie, my movie Hood Life is going to be out in a few weeks. We're doing another version of it. It's been 20 years since I dropped that movie. So I'm trying to drop a t-shirt tonight by tomorrow. And you'll be able to go buy the t-shirt, which is going to help us produce the movie for the 20-year reunion of Hood Life, the movie, which is a great movie for me. I've never sold it to nobody. Nobody else owned my products. I never put it on none of the TV networks. No white people own shit. I own every percent of it. I made every dollar from it. And even at the times when we took it on the road to New York and Detroit and places like that in America. So just really grateful to do that and do that. But, crazy shit happening in the news, man. Your boy, well, I don't know what the fuck I'm finna tell y'all about now. So let me look up a couple of scenarios that I look at because a lot of shit going on. For instance, I could tell y'all about all kind of shit. Like one thing I was looking into about how white people have said that they was going to be down with blacks and they was giving up on being racist and how black people are going to have more from them, as whites that run this country and they practice racism towards blacks and they was doing Black Lives Matter statements. They was doing so much shit. All of a sudden, you don't hear no more of that. It's quiet. So I was listening to Roland Martin and them, and they was talking about how It's such a definite, even in a space of doing commercials where they would be the people who do commercials as a production company, and a white company would give them the money, and they'll go produce the story or the commercial idea for them when they market their brand. They ain't getting no connects like that. It's still blocked out. It's still locked out. No industry connects. Nothing happening for them. Black people still fucked up in the game, and it was just making me feel like, damn, man, like all that old George Floyd shit that was going around, and you still at the same position. It's still the same shit that's being pushed by white folks, and it's like I knew at that time wasn't for shit for the change because people are comfortable. The only people that's uncomfortable in America is black people. Everybody else got unification. They got groups. They got families. They got countries. They got connections outside of America. We don't. We locked in this bitch. It's almost like being in the water or a pond, and you can't eat other fish. You can only eat when the motherfucker pour food into the pond, and he do that when he feel like it. Matter of fact, you can't even as a fish tell him when to do it. Like, hey, pour some fucking food in here. I'm trying to have a date with my lady. None of that. You just gotta wait for him to do it. When he do it, you gotta go grab yours and hope it holds you down to the next time they pour water in the pond. But everybody else, they get to walk out. They get to make a delivery. Hey, water, please. Put food in the pond over here. Thank you. And so it's just like that in America, and we kind of outside of that. So, but we do the best we can, and that's what music is. See, if you think about music, think about some of the times. I remember being a kid, and they would play music from the I don't know, the people with the kingships and shit like that, European and stuff. And there would always be something like do 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 ding 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 ding. I once was a man in type with C, right to the bank and tea, and it would be some shit like that. I'm literally telling you this, like Shakespearean shit. This would be music from white people. I heard it as a kid. I didn't know nothing else but what the fuck they showed me on TV. So I wasn't judging from standing around them. I'm just looking at the music and the video being transmitted to me. And then you look at black people. Just good times anytime you want. All the energy and feeling and heart and behind the songs and music and the Michael Jacksons and the Prince and everybody who was making music and being on TV, Lionel Richie, me singing ballads and dope ass music, and you just it's the '80s because I was only born in that time frame, and I'd be like, man, black people are so fucking talented. Then flip the script, and then you got to be interested in white music that's like the beat goes on and it by myself, or Van Halen, or the Aerosmiths of the world. That's their world. I'm not dissing them. I don't live over there. I'm not. I don't. That's not my condition that I'm in. So I can't diss it. Maybe they love that shit. It's their connection. Who am I to diss their music? I'm not saying that. My point I'm making is you can hear how black people was making something that was melodic, that had rhythm, that had a sound, a up, a down, something. Sometimes when it's inside your heart or your body, you felt the music, and when it's inside your body, or maybe even something that you was going through in your life, a relationship. And I'm not saying that their music didn't, but you would see black music being more from pressure, from pain, from coming from being depressed, from being locked out, from not having nothing. They even got a part of black music called the blues, where people literally speak about the conditions they're in, that has transgressed into hip hop and rap. But that's what it was in the day. You know what I'm saying? So me being a person who worked around music and theaters and concerts and shit like that my whole life, I always had a chance to be around it. You listen to the different sounds. You listen to the different musicians. Like right now, it's a rap lady in the game. Her name is Megan Thee Stallion. She's famous as fuck. You probably heard of her. If you haven't, you need to Google her because she's famous as fuck and she knew a lot of dope ass music. When I was a teenager, I worked at a theater called the Regal Theater, 4 blocks from my crib. But all the celebrities, every fucking musician in the world came to this theater. They performed, they did everything. Make a long story short, and here's a timeline for you. My last day working there was when the Chronic album came out. I don't know how old you was at that time, but I was 20. And so when the Chronic album dropped, Dr. Dre and them came to the Regal Theater. And I got smoked some weed with them niggas. Not exactly Dre, but the Snoop Dogg and Dash Corrupt. I was in their dressing room with them and shit. And Suge Knight was in there, but he didn't take no smoke. He was just in the room and shit. But I didn't know who he was. He was sitting on the couch. He wore red. He wore red, yeah, a red suit. Matter of fact, I remember that. He asked me. He asked me back then, Suge Knight. He said, what's that? What do that mean with your head to the right?" And I was like, "That's the GDs." And he's like, "Oh, you one of them guys or whatever." Which was this guy named Lil Half Dead. He was sitting on a table, and you remember Lil Half Dead because Snoop mentioned him in his rap song, saying he was in a 2-man cell with Lil Half Dead in one of them songs in Snoop Dogg album. Just from back in the day. I got off the storyline to tell you that little quick story about the Snoop Dogg situation because I used to work at the Rican Theater. I used to be around a lot of celebrities all the time. That's just what the fuck it was happening at the theater. Plays happened there, music. So you experienced a lot of theater and music my whole life. So as I left there, I never forgot how that influenced me as a person to want to go and create my own stuff because you just saw so much. Like everybody and anybody came there and performed. Heavy D, I don't give a shit who the artist was. Johnny Gill, fucking, you name a musician. Patti LaBelle, fucking comedy, it was everything. GJ Jazzy Jeff came to that motherfucker and DJ'd that bitch like that, like literally through a DJ fucking concert, for real. So, all that being said, that's a lot of the shit that I grew up experiencing, you know what I'm saying? So, having to make the movies and shit like that was an influence in my life because I was like, I want to do that shit. And it's so early on, I didn't even know it was going to be famous and respected like that. And Friday was such a large part of our youth and just sitting up in the cribs and shit, smoking weed all fucking day. That movie playing over and over and over, especially when it first came out. And we laughing over and over at the jokes and shit. And then, it was just a dope ass time. So I remember Debo being just such a character. And then at the end, the bully got beat up in the movie. And that was really one of the parts that I really respected that he did in that movie. You know what I'm saying? He showed the bully getting beat up. And them being able to take over uh, the scenario. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got to be threatened so much. So by the time they did the next movie, they was having a whole nother experience. But Debo was still in it, getting a check. I think it's like he broke out of prison or some shit like that. They had it being funny as hell. You know what I'm saying? So that's Hollywood for you right there, man. You know what I'm saying? So, old boy played in a lot of movies. He was in a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? So, but eventually he died, man. Life is short for everybody. Ain't none of us gonna run through this thing and stay untouched. None of us. We all gonna get ready to go up out of here one day. So you gotta kind of just be as happy as you can and live the best life you can because one day you ain't gonna be here. That's just everybody on this planet. So, that ain't even for me to say. I ain't even trying to do no doom and gloom. It's just, it is what it is. Yo, but anyway, I'm just kind of talking shit. Go to my website, hoodfilms.com. Buy some of them products. Grab some of them products. Spend some of that hard-earned money. Or send me some dope through Cash App, Hood Films, HOODFILMS. Yo, my whole thing was to learn about how to brand yourself and how to lock in a brand and try to lock it out from everybody because I went through some tumultuous times where people try to act like they own the products that I create or stuff like that. You learn in the game. You can't control other humans, but you learn. And so I learned that that's the way that people do things is that you trademark shit. You brand it, you brand it, you brand it. And then you think about it. You think about the big brands like Nike or Tide Soap or fucking Kellogg cereal. All these companies are synonymous because they brand unquestionably, unapologetic. They don't care. They brand it. Think about it. When I was a kid, I wanted to eat Frosted Flakes so fucking bad. I just wanted some. So by the time this is some real shit. By the time I became a grown man, I was making sure when I had apartments or when I was kicking it somewhere, I was getting me some fucking Frosted Flakes. I just did this. Like, I'm like, fuck that. I love Frosted Flakes. I'm getting me some shit. Sometimes you ain't have right milk. You be like, oh, I'm gonna get that shit. I fucking ate that shit. I had my fucking Frosted Flakes to eventually eating them so much, I started tasting the chemicals. I started tasting the shit they put in it. Before, all I tasted was the sugar. Like, Frosted Flakes, I love it. Pour just a little bit of sugar. Or pour a lot of sugar in there this time. I'm sorry, pour a lot of little milk in it, or just pour a lot of milk in it. I had it all kind of directions. So eventually I started tasting the chemicals because the sugar is not sugar like normal sugar. It's chemicals, and it's chemical to bond to the flake and all that. If you eat it long enough, you'll start tasting the shit that they make it with. It's not really good tasty no more because you've eaten it so much that you passed the sugar taste. Your tongue saying, ooh, sugar. Now you're tasting what they fucking used to make it and whatever the hell that is, because you ain't no reference in your head of what the fuck they got, but you know it tastes crazy. It tastes like fucking mechanical or some shit like that. It's like, yuck, I don't want this shit. Since I started tasting that, I ain't ate Frosted Flakes in probably 15 years. Not that I don't like them. I literally got some in the kitchen now. But they probably molded because I had bought them bitches. Probably ate a few that day and ain't touched them motherfuckers again. Not that I don't like them or I hate them, but the thing about it is that you eat something, you have something for so long that eventually you just can't even bear it. You know, you can't even. It's not even your thing no more. You're like, nah. You can look right at that shit and just be like, we're done. Our relationship has ended. So that's kind of how it is out here. You know what I'm saying? You get to so used to some shit. You know what I'm saying? That you just get to the part that you can't. None of it get you phased. None of it phase you. You know what I mean? Like none of it get you going. You like, no. I know how to get my brain more locked in into other things than to thinking about just going to get that shit. So if that can be some kind of help to you about how to get over shit that you're locked into, then hopefully that did do that for you. I don't know. But that for me was something that I had to come to terms with, that if it started being different than what the fuck it started off being, which is the fuck you liked in the beginning, break that shit. Break it. And then don't go back to it. Because even though I probably got a box of Frosted Flakes, I ain't bought that shit in a long time. And my lady probably eat the shit whenever she eat it, but you talking about a motherfucker who wasn't finna stop until I got a goddamn box of Frosted Flakes for the morning. That's how I was. I love them motherfuckers. You know, when we was kids, you ate Frosted Flakes, but my OG, she used to want to go get corn flakes. And you had to add sugar to the shit. Like out the thing. She was like, this more healthy. You like, what? They fucking make the ones with the sugar. So she used to get four cornflakes, and then you had to get the little spoon, get the little bag of sugar, and ranch your sugar into the thing. And it's always like, but this is dumb. And I was a kid, so after I got grown, I was like, well, we supposed to Frosted Flakes, god damn it. We supposed to Frosted Flakes. So by the time I got a little few older years of my life, when I had that shit, it was like, this don't taste good. I don't think I should be eating this shit. Yeah, so that's that. Fucks with you like a motherfucker. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for kicking it with me. I appreciate y'all. I'm trying to get over here and talk that shit to y'all, man, so we can have a better relationship. So y'all can see my shows. My station that I do a lot of the videos on, where you can see Hood Film movies, is Hood Films TV. Hood Films, the same way you found this motherfucking page, but put TV behind it, and you can see one of my movies, which is called Hood Life. It will be out for 20 years in another 2 weeks, and I'm grateful for that because I'm here with it, and that's something to just cheer about. 20 fucking years since you made a movie. You don't even know that at the time I made that movie, it was no hood movies in Chicago. It was none. Let me see. Zero. It was motherfuckers making movies, but they was making bougie, hunky movies. They was trying to fit in with white folks. The movies was like, ain't nothing wrong with that. It just wasn't the fuck what I was finna go make. So when I got a camera, which I broke my neck to get a camera, and I'll tell y'all that story another time. I got that fucking camera and I meant to go make a hood movie. It took a while though, because I had to build up the courage to go and talk to the people, to be in front of the camera. I already knew I could do it. I knew I could fucking do it. Because I had shot a short film like 2 or 3 times before that, like very short films. But they wasn't long enough for me to be like, hey, watch my movie. So this time, I was making a movie that somebody could fucking see. So I didn't go big on boom and crash and shit like that. I made sure that, and I did talk to the people who was in the movie about the story. So this was a non-script movie. But I made sure that we had meetings after meetings after meetings. I made sure that even when they didn't feel like it sometimes, I would be like on their ass, like, look, nigga, no homo. Look, nigga, we got to talk about this movie. Okay, look, before we shoot, what the fuck we gonna do? After we shoot, I right, look, what we gonna do next time? And then I goes back and I chop that shit up and I come back again, like, look, this what the fuck we gonna do? What we gonna do about this? And we sit back and chat and talk that shit out. And then boom, let's get to filming. And that's how the movie got done. And I also did that with the movie that came behind that called R.I.P in the Streets, which it was a whole bunch of new people that I made the movie with. But it was the same kind of idea where we was just gonna sit back and holler at each other and bring the story together from a perspective that was more than just my brain. After those two movies, all the movies I've ever been a part of have been scripted movies where you make scripts and shit like that. So for my 20th year anniversary of Hood Life, I think I'm going to do a non-scripted movie again and just make sure I work with the actors so they understand what we're doing here and how they can contribute, because sometimes, most times in films, that there's a writer, but he's not necessarily going to be there. Not necessarily. He do. Sometimes they do. He probably ain't gonna be the actor. He probably not gonna be the director. He probably not gonna be nobody that's literally associated with the movie, because he wrote the story, the idea of what this movie is gonna be. Then another team of people go and build the frame of what that story is, and the last person edits that story to tell you exactly what the fuck all those people before him was doing. So it's like a group of people to make it happen. Sometimes it's that one person that do all the group, and that's